guys, it's Heather here, and today we are actually going to be talking about sailing to the Mediterranean. I am so excited about this segment. Honestly, most of you don't know, is my parents just got back from a Mediterranean cruise. Oh my gosh, they had just the time of their life out there in Europe. They cruised on a 7-day cruise, and they want to come back and give you guys some information about cruising the Mediterranean that they kind of wish they knew before they went, because there's definitely things that they wish they knew before they went on the trip, so that way they had better preparation, and they're just so excited. Let's go introduce my mom. You guys all know her as Mama Vacay, so give her a round of applause. Woo!
Hey everybody!
Hopefully you guys are clapping at home for her. So also, if you haven't yet, I would absolutely love to go down below. Let's touch on subscribing from gray to gray, so that way you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. So also smash the notification bell, so that way you do not miss a video. Another thing too, this is going to be a series, so we'll be making multiple videos of this, so be sure to check back. So let's begin where any trip starts, which is going to be right when they first arrive. Well, first they arrived at the UK, which they didn't really stay at that long, which is layover. So then they landed at Barcelona. So let's begin. So what was your experience like once you first landed in Barcelona? What was the airport like? How did you feel about it when you first got in?
Barcelona has a really beautiful airport. We noticed that more when we were flying back home, restaurants, shops, and everything. But when we got off the plane, we had to go to customs. There was a really long line. It took about 45 minutes for somebody to look at my passport, stamp it, and say, okay. So we were exhausted. We had done 3 flights getting there, which was really, really tiring. I don't recommend that.
Don't
Pay the extra money.
Yeah.
Book them far enough in advance so there's availability. Do not do 3 flights to come in, because that was so tiring. And so immediately when we got done, when we got our passes stamped, we were exhausted. We just wanted to get to our hotel. So we went outside, and there was a line for cabs that was as long as the customs line. But there were so many cabs that only took about 10 minutes. And the cab service was just very quick. It was very efficient. They were just lined up, rows and rows and rows of them. So we were able to get into a cab pretty quickly.
Where did you guys stay when you were in Barcelona?
We stayed at the Hesperia Presidente Hotel. I put the information
We'll
in the
go drop
comments.
it down in the comments below.
It was an absolutely wonderful experience. A very nice hotel, super nice people. They all spoke English. So the first impression was just driving through Barcelona and just noticing immediately just how beautiful everything was. Barcelona is a really beautiful city. It's very clean. There's trees along the sidewalks. I felt very safe there. You always have to watch for pickpockets in that area of the world. So I kept a lanyard with a wallet, and I kept it inside my shirt. Some of my pictures look a little bulky. I was just really blown away with just how pretty a city it was. My experience in general was wonderful, but my first impressions is like, oh, this is a really awesome place.
You guys just kind of didn't really do much your first day because you were like majorly jet lagged.
We were majorly jet lagged. We were exhausted. My husband wanted food, and it was very funny because he's not really into like getting the food of the time. Like I would have loved to have gone to a place that had a very Spanish theme and tasted some of the cultural. But he wasn't. So the funny thing is that there was a Five Guys across the street from our hotel. So we went to Five Guys. It's funny because if you are going to Barcelona, if you're traveling with children, if you're picky yourself, you can find everything there. You know, Five Guys, McDonald's, Burger King, KFC.
Starbucks.
They had Starbucks everywhere as well.
Starbucks.
So
I love a foreign Starbucks.
And there's also a lot of pizzerias.
Did they speak English to workers at
They
Guys?
Did. They
I
did.
thought that was interesting.
The first thing that I don't eat meat or dairy. So he ordered his burger, and I asked I asked if they spoke English. They did, and she told me what I could get. Get just the vegetables on a sandwich, and just spoke very perfect English. The thing I noticed that even though when you go along Barcelona, all the signs are in Spanish, almost everybody that we ran into in the businesses and the establishments spoke English. We went to bed after dinner. As much as you want to go and explore, it is exhausting. So we did discipline ourselves that we went to sleep almost immediately after dinner, and we had a tour plan the next day. We had to get up early for.
Always allow definitely a day before getting into Europe, like before whatever you're doing, whether it's a cruise, whether it's a tour, whatever you are, you gotta adjust to the, you gotta let yourself adjust to the time zone, because it is incredibly exhausting. Just allow yourself a day to just adjust. Second day, so what did you guys do on your second day of Barcelona? What is there to do at Barcelona?
Oh, there is so much to do. And just as a recommendation, we booked a tour a long time in advance. So they had all of our tickets to things. If you're not booking a tour and you want to go on your own, make sure you get all your tickets in advance, because a lot of the things we did were sold out and you weren't able to get tickets. Like if you wanted to be spontaneous, you couldn't get tickets. So make sure if you are going to Barcelona and you want to do some of these sites, don't be too spontaneous. Make sure you plan ahead and you do get the tickets in advance, because they might not be there that day. So
definitely.
We did a tour with Spain. I think it was Spain Day Tours. We'll link all the information below.
Right through them?
We booked it right through
we'll
them.
Link that down below too.
Right. And what happened was they actually were leaving from the cruise ship because a lot of people were coming in. There were 11 cruise ships in port that day. That's how busy it was. So a lot of people were getting off their ship. They wanted to see Barcelona before they went home. So what they did, which was wonderful, they had a cab pick us up free of charge and take us over to the cruise ship. And that's where we met the group. We were in a van. There was 12 of us, I think. And there was 12 seats in the van. And we started our tour of Barcelona, which was really wonderful. The guide was English speaking, and he just drove us to our places.
So what was the first place that you went to?
We went to a place called Park Guell. It's a park. It's a very interesting story about the man who designed it. He was a man who had a crisis in faith. He was very depressed. He turned to God, became a Catholic, and put a lot of his walk and his faith throughout the park. It's very interesting because we did learn that a lot of the things in the park were made from recycled materials, and this was from 1900, so it was very before its time.
Yeah.
So it was a really beautiful, kind of eccentric place to go, because it was kind of, the design was just a little bit, it was a little bit strange, but in a beautiful way. The way that the rocks were designed, the way that it was just very, it was very beautiful in a kind of unique way. Views of Barcelona from Park Guell are phenomenal. It like overlooks the city. So of course on a tour, they're very, we didn't really have a lot of time to linger, but we saw most of the highlights of the park and heard the stories. The advantage of going with a tour guide is you do hear the history, very, very detailed history of, why this looks this way, or so that was our first thing that we did was Park Guell, and it was a phenomenal way to start the trip.
Definitely. No, it looks absolutely beautiful. Again, just based on your photos.
Yes, it was.
It looks beautiful. So what was the next place that you went to?
The next place we did was La Sagrada Familia, but we didn't have tickets to go inside.
Yeah,
now, when we booked the tour, we were given the option. I think they do run several different tours. So if we did want to go inside, we probably would have gone with a different group of people. We didn't really want to go inside. It was something that we wanted to do other things too. Went to the part of La Sagrada Familia. We went to the birth part. It has the stages of Christ's life. They have, birth, life, death, resurrection. We were in front of the birth part, took pictures of the shepherds in the stone, the angels. It was really so beautiful. And we just stood out there a few minutes and took pictures. And that was basically all we did. We weren't able to go in. It is a working church. They do services on Sunday, but nobody's allowed to take photos. And it's interesting because Gaudi is the person who designed both Park Guell and La Sagrada Familia. So he was the designer of both, very talented person. And from La Sagrada Familia, we did go and we did see his house. It had the same recycled materials on the outside of his house. Then we saw another building that he designed, and it was funny because we learned that George Lucas had stayed there, and that's where he got the inspiration for the stormtroopers' helmets.
That was interesting.
So, because up on the roof, the chimneys looked like the stormtroopers' helmets. So that was our second stop, La Sagrada Familia, and then Gaudi's house and another building he designed. So
okay.
the thing you have to keep in mind is if you do Barcelona on the weekends, which if you're linking it with a cruise, most likely you would.
Yeah.
It was so crowded. It was wall-to-wall people because there were 11 cruise ships in that day. It's also an excursion for people who aren't sailing from Barcelona.
So what did you guys do after that, after the cathedral?
Okay, after that, we got out of the city. We drove 45 minutes to Montserrat. Tour guide's idea was to do the city early, get us out of the city.
Okay.
So we went to Montserrat, which was beautiful mountains. It was a monastery. It's actually still a working monastery since about 1000 AD.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yes. And it was really neat because we took a train. There's different ways you can walk up the mountain. They have a walkway. It's not like you have to do mountain climbing.
Yeah.
They have a walkway up the mountain, or you could take a train up the mountain, or you could take one of the gondolas like the Skyliner.
So what did you guys pick?
We did the train.
Okay,
that was something our tour guide insisted. It's the problem with the gondolas, you're very close together. He said you're like this the whole way up. Yeah. So it's very claustrophobic.
So don't do the gondolas if you don't want to be in a crowd of people.
If you get claustrophobic. The train also connects to the outside world. It kind of just goes through Montserrat.
Oh, so you got to make sure you get off.
Yes.
Okay.
So we took the...
Otherwise you end up in another part of the
Exactly. So we took the train. It was very beautiful. We took it to the top of the hill. Okay. And then we got out. And the one thing you have to remember with Montserrat, we did have a lunch break at that point. The food's not great. It's meant to just be very quick. They have a cafeteria style where you kind of just take the food you want. They also had one where they said they made really good sandwiches, but I don't eat meat, so I didn't go there. But there's also a sandwich place. You can get Cokes, you can get cold drinks if you need to, but it's not like the best food. Yeah. So it's kind of just to fill your stomach so you have the fuel to keep going. Montserrat was super packed. He said if you go early in the week, it's not, but it was super busy. There were a lot of people there. And so what we did, we went into the monastery. He explained a lot of things. It's interesting. In Montserrat, they have something where it's supposedly the most positive place to get positive energy. It's like this circle. Oh. And he said if you go during the week, when it's not as crowded, that people will be there. They'll take off as many clothes as they can and just stand there in the sun, trying to get the positive energy. But the interesting thing there was the Black Madonna is there. That was something that dates back to 800 AD when shepherds saw light in a cave and they found a statue. And it was a statue of the Madonna and the baby Jesus. And what happened is because so many people over the years would go there and light candles around this statue, the statue turned black from the cinder. Okay. So the Black Madonna was there. The line to see the Black Madonna was like probably hours long.
Oh, wow.
So we went.
Did you guys not see it?
We saw the Black Madonna from inside the church. Okay. What happened was we went in the church. She was up high, and we saw the people. I got some pictures. Okay. The people were walking by. You could touch the Black Madonna. You could pray for a minute or two. But people were going by to see the Black Madonna. You're not supposed to. I don't think you're supposed to take pictures up close, but that might be to move the line along, you know.
Yeah, that's probably just
we did see a family doing it, like a family of four doing a selfie, but we went into a really beautiful church. We got to spend some time there. The tour guide, that's kind of what I learned doing a Mediterranean cruise. He's like, okay, he goes, you have 7 minutes if you want to pray. So, but it was kind of like that the whole time. But he said that the belief is if you sit in these chairs and if you make a wish to the Black Madonna, and if it comes true, you have to come back and you have to say thank you. So I made my wish. So we'll see. I might be going to Montserrat again in the future. Okay. But it was really a beautiful church. It was very peaceful. It was really a wonderful time. So we left Montserrat. We went back into Barcelona, and our last stop, we went to a museum. And it was really, we didn't go in the museum, but it was really just to see the view. It was like a phenomenal view. Okay. Aerial view. You saw La Sagrada Familia. You saw the place where Montserrat, the hill that Montserrat was past. It was really just a wonderful view. And then it was wonderful because when we were done with that, he just dropped us off you know, we just went to every hotel and he just dropped whoever.
That's nice. That's
yeah,
convenient.
we were
That's
picked
really
up
convenient.
at our door and dropped off at our doors.
And what did you guys do after that? It's now an evening in Barcelona.
An evening in Barcelona, and it was a beautiful one. It was, weather was perfect. It was sunny. It was just absolutely beautiful. To a New York pizzeria, English speaking, wonderful, wonderful little place. You could eat outside. We ended up eating inside, and they had pictures of New York everywhere. And the thing that I loved is they had vegan cheese. So my husband had the regular pizza. I had the vegan cheese. It was delicious. My husband said it was better than anything he ever had in Florida.
Wow. It's your, I guess you could say, I don't want to say it's like your last day in Barcelona, but it is now the morning you guys are leaving Barcelona. This is important for you guys to know because they had a little bit of trouble getting to the ship, and here is why they had trouble.
Yes. Okay, apparently in Barcelona, they do races every couple weeks. Sometimes they're marathons, 10Ks, 5Ks. That morning they were doing a 10K, and it was funny because we looked out our window. We actually saw the runners. They went right past. My husband had asked the day before because he heard it on our cruise page. So we're not gonna get to the ship if you don't leave early. Everybody was panicking, and they're like, "Oh no, it's gonna be through quickly. It's only a 10K. It's not a marathon." Yeah. So my husband used his Cabify to call a cab, and they were coming back, and they're like, "Can't help you. Sorry, no drivers available." So we're like, "Oh no." How far is it? 4 miles to the ship port?
Yeah.
So we were just a little bit panicky because we absolutely couldn't get a cab. And this is where the hotel, and this again, while I highly recommend it, they we went in and explained our situation. They fought very hard, came outside, and he's like, "We have a cab coming for you right now." So a cab pulled up, and they explained, cab drivers didn't speak as good English, so they explained to the hotel clerk it might be a little more money because we have to go around the crowds, you know, with the 10K and get the best way to get there. So he was absolutely wonderful. You know, we paid whatever money to go a little bit of a longer route to get there. So that is something that you do need to keep in mind with Barcelona, is that on the day you're going to the ship, you know, find out if there's races. We would have made it there in time because we weren't sailing away till 6 p.m.
So now it is the beginning of their trip. So where my parents visited is, they went to Palma de Mallorca, an island off the coast of Spain. They went to Marseille, France, Pisa and Lucca.
Pisa and Lucca, that was at the Port of La Spezia.
Oh, La Spezia, oh gosh, all these words. And then Civitavecchia.
Civitavecchia.
Oh gosh, which is Rome.
I probably mispronounced it, but that's Rome.
Which will be a Rome port. Final port is Naples. So then we're going to be doing.
We're going to break them all down for those of you who are nervous about traveling like I was. So this way you know exactly what to expect.
Even if you're not nervous, to know before you go. So we'll be doing videos of that and then in the upcoming weeks. So be sure to check back. Well, and that, my friends, that is the end of the chapter. Go comment down below. What was your favorite thing that Mama Vacay did in Barcelona? Based on the pictures that I put in, what do you think is your favorite? Another thing too, have you been to Barcelona? Put that in the comments below. What did you do in Barcelona? Like, let's get something going because I love talking about travel. So also go check out some of my links down below. Go check out my links to my other social medias. I'm active on Instagram, TikTok. Go check them out there and check out the links to them to see more of my content. Yeah. Thank you for watching.
And I hope to see you on the next chapter.